Welcome to the Speaking of Math podcast, episode number 47 by Door to Math. This podcast is devoted to all things math education and how parents can be a positive factor in their kids' math learning. Math is the gateway to many professional careers as well as confidence and personal growth. Find more information at www.doortomath.com or on social media at Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Tucson Math Talk. So let's get on with the topic of the day. All right, and that sounds all great to me, and I'm eager to get home with my kids to work on test-taking skills with them. Do you have any tricks to share with us?
Yeah, I do. There's one exercise, regardless the age of the children come to my office, I always get them started on this exercise. I call it row of addition. On the surface, it looks very simple and almost mind-boggling tedious. However, there are three skills I'm training using this simple skill. It's addition. The reason I choose addition is everybody can add, right? So when the kids come to the office, whether they want to go to Ivy League and get ahead, or they've been falling behind for a while, math doesn't make sense. But addition is everybody, when they come to the office, is something they can do. So building a confidence starting from there, and I know a test score, a relatively repeatable gauge that we talked last episode, does build confidence. So I come down to what task everybody can do and it would strengthen that test-taking skill. So in the role of adding numbers, I found the answer.
Okay, and what does the row of addition look like, and how do I work with that with my child at home?
Okay, so let me work backward. On the finishing side, however long it takes, some kids takes maybe a month, some kids takes up to 6 months to master the skill. On the finishing side, I'll give you what it looks like, and then we'll work backward how, depending on what your kids are, you can build from there. On the finishing side, you have a number ranging from anywhere from 0 to 9. It's just a single-digit number, and you're going to roll a column of 10 numbers. Pick the largest one you can think of, but not all nines, because then kids can use multiplication. So some random number, I hear on a piece of paper, if you have a piece of paper, write this one down. 5, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3, 5, 8, 9, 9. So again, it's 5, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3, 5, 8, 9, 9. So it's a somewhat random-ish, large, bigger number than 5, large number row, column of addition. The finishing product will look like this. If you have 10 of those columns, I put a timer on for a kid who mastered the skill. They can add this column of number with very relatively ease. And there's a specific method that we can link into the YouTube that will explain how to do this exercise. Anyway, the finished product looked like with a with column of 10 of those, put a timer on, under pressure, a child as young as third grade can zip through this exercise within under 3 minutes and get 100%. That's a really good gauge to say the kid has built-in internal double checking and is not faltering the habit under the time pressure. That's what really test taking is about. Double checking, speed comes after accuracy.
All right. First question is the speed more important or more accuracy? Is accuracy more important?
Oh, by far it's the accuracy, because speed, once you zip through it, you discover you only got 1 out of 10. So on the test, as far as Scantron or standardized test is considered, you only got 10%, and it doesn't matter where you made the mistake.
So until they get 100%, don't even measure the time?
Correct. So that's what the finishing product looks like.
All right. If that's what the finishing product looks like, what's the theory behind it?
The theory behind it is the reason I have a column of 10 is that it does require at least 10 steps for you to get the correct answer. It doesn't matter if you add the third number wrong or fourth number wrong or even the last number wrong, your answer is going to be wrong, right? So once the kid tastes that hurrying is lead to the wrong answer, and if they get a wrong answer, I have them, I discussed that with beforehand. I said, slow down. If you get the right answer, we'll give you next one. If you get the right answer and you think you got it right, I have your permission to give you 2 more. Kids quickly learn that it doesn't pay to zip through things without accuracy.
So this method builds discipline using simple arithmetic.
Simple arithmetic for one, and I think naturally kids figure out more work means if I don't double check, there's going to be more work.
All right, so we keep going and going until they get 100%.
Yes, the record, there's one kid who repeated, I think somewhere like 42 times before he got the record. I mean, that's rare I think that was a 10th grader. The longer the bad habit exists, the longer it's going to take and break the habit of not double checking. So that was all to be expected. So if you have a younger kid, start with 2 digits. Column of 2s, column of 3s, maybe 3 by 3s. Started them with a load they can handle, but have their buy-in. So long as it's correct, doesn't matter how long it takes. Once the accuracy is 100%, and then you start adding stressor of time.
All right, and you've used it with students that you teach to good results on tests?
Oh, absolutely. This is the first thing we teach. It's 2-pronged approach. Yes, math foundation needs to be fixed. So there's foundation holes and so on and so forth. But as we talked in last episode, there are 2 guardhouses. The test taking is irregardless what subject you're studying. And when it comes to math, because the nature of math is black and white, there's just right or wrong, it's very important to instill very early on the test taking skills.
All right, and say I'm hearing this and say my child's in 7th grade and they're way past the arithmetic and addition. Do I use division or subtraction to substitute for that, or do I still stick with addition?
No, you want to stick, in my opinion anyway, you want to stick with the simplest one. The reason with the simplest one is most kids was not struggling in addition. If you have a child lacking confidence, you don't really want to put a stressor on things that they already don't feel good about it. You want to pick them up where they had fun. Most of the kids had fun with addition. Very few. I've not seen one all those years I've worked that the kids refuse to add. Addition is something that's so beginning that very few kids associate that with stress.
Okay, so most kids know how to add, and most kids don't really have bad memories about knowing how to add. And just because of that, you should stick with the adding to build up these other skills.
I wouldn't say that's just because that. The second reason is that since it's relatively easy, the addition itself relatively easy, math doesn't get in the way of developing test taking skills. Mm-hmm. Now, those are very distinct skills. The math foundation, the math concepts, they are linked on kind of like a pyramid, right? On the very bottom, looks like simple, but it's actually building a lot of foundation. Because adding is so simple, it doesn't have to tangle into the math concept struggle they have.
All right, I could see where this exercise builds up the double checking skill and the skill for accuracy. What about the learning for self-gauge?
It doesn't touch self-gauge whatsoever. And I believe self-gauge is more of advanced skill. So if you think of cooking, right? Cooking ramen noodles or mac cheese, it's the elementary skill, just to be able to fetch it. Or maybe peanut butter jelly, right? We're in that area. Now, when you're talking about self-gauge, it's more, to me anyway, I'm not really good at that in the kitchen. To me, self-gauging ability to stick in that ±3 zone, it's more like a French chef cooking. So they're not on the same level.
Okay. And for this type of exercise, column of addition, is it okay for parents to administer it at home, or is it something that a tutor or only a teacher should do?
Oh, by far that parents should have starting this exercise as early as you can. The reason is that parents, regardless of what our own math experience is like, very few of us are scared of addition. Again, it's what you don't see kids pick up also. So if you didn't have a good math experience, it doesn't matter, because very few of us don't like addition. And that unspoken ease and comfort with addition is what I built this exercise on.
All right, I think that makes sense to me. So, to summarize, continuing from podcast 46, where we talked about test taking skills as a separate entity from knowing the material for the test, we have a hot tip for you on how parents can practice with their kids at home on test taking skills on a simple enough exercise that parents and kids could do it at home and build up their test taking skills. And this exercise helps with double checking and helps with accuracy, which are two of the three important test taking skills. And this exercise involves setting up columns of 10 single digit numbers, preferably between 5 and 10, and having 10 of those columns and having your child add up all the numbers in the column and first making sure it's 100% accurate, and then after that practicing for time. And doing that over and over again will build up test taking skills. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, make sure we have a YouTube link on the description below. If you have time, check on that. I think a visual, this is problem of the podcast that you have to listen. Listening is just using one input terminal. But if you can go on, check the link and take a look at the actual addition, I think it would help.
Okay, until next time.
Happy parenting.